Welcome to the highlights and match reaction show for the UEFA Champions League. We are sponsored by our partners for the entire season at Topps Kick 23. Topps Kick are the official digital collectibles app of the UEFA Champions League. Topps Kick is back for the 22-23 season, where you can collect and trade your favorite players from across the Champions League with football fans all around the world. The app has new packs available every week, brand new cards, original artworks, and classic top card designs. Throughout the course of this season, I want to build with you the ultimate Champions League squad with Topps Kick. So get the app downloaded right now. It's available worldwide and it is free. I'm going to be playing along throughout the entire Champions League season from tonight right and through to the final, and I want to see you there. The link is available in the description below to download the Topps Kick 23 app. You can also scan the QR code that will be on the screen throughout the course of this stream. But make sure like buttons are being smashed. You're subscribing to the Football Terrace. Big shout out to Topps. Let's do this. What a night. What a result. Chelsea lose 3 away games on the bounce. That's 3 away games on the bounce. Their opening night in the Champions League ends in disaster, really. You know, all the ball, all the approach play, but just not able to put the ball in the back of the net, caught on the counter. And look, they're not out of the Champions League. There's 5 games to go. It looks a fairly simplistic group. But Thomas Tuchel's starting to get questioned. I'm seeing the Chelsea fans losing their patience. I'm seeing the Chelsea fans becoming angrier and angrier and angrier as each game goes by. And I need to hear from you. I want to know what you think needs to change. If you see me looking down, by the way, it's because my laptop's here. I don't have the monitor set up because we're watching all the other Champions League games tonight. But I need to hear from the Chelsea fans. I need to hear from you because this has been a disastrous start to your season. We all thought you were going to be better than this. We all keep saying you're going to bounce back in the next game. You got aubameyang back. Players are getting fitter. You know, the turmoil of the takeovers behind you. But the performances are the same. Most of the ball, most of the approach play, but you can't score the goals and you keep getting caught. You keep getting caught. And if it wasn't for a fantastic save from Kepa, this could have been worse. It could have been a 2-0 defeat. I need to hear from you tonight. I want to know what you're thinking and feeling. Make sure you're smashing the like button as well and leaving your comments below. I want to say a big shout out, as the intro said, to Topps Kick 23. The brand new app is available. Scan the QR code on the screen now or use the link in the description below. It's an amazing, amazing application, as I've already said, for your digital collectibles. Now, you remember growing up playing Top Trumps? It's essentially the same thing, but you were collecting various pieces of artwork, all connected to the Champions League this year and previous years gone by. Plus, if you're into the MLS or Bundesliga, you can collect their cards there as well. There's so much to learn. They're also launching a fantasy football league for the Champions League, and that starts very, very soon indeed. I'm going to be with them all season from today right through to the final, and we're going to play along together. So get it downloaded for free either now or at the end of the stream. Get that done, people, because a large part of the Champions League nights on the Football Terrace is going to revolve around this app. Now, look, I want to go to what you're thinking and what you're feeling in the comment sections right now. I know the super chats are going to start building up as well, but Juan here says, think I'm finally saying it. Tuchel needs to go if he can't get this together soon. This team has quality players. This shouldn't be happening. And that's as I'm saying. We're starting to see that now from people. We are starting to see people really call out the manager. And I want your thoughts on this. Tuchel has lost the dressing room. Potter in, please. That's 2 Chelsea fans on the bounce that want to call the manager out, or getting that way. How many other Chelsea fans are starting to agree with this notion? I want to know. I want to know right now. I'm going to go through these comments here. Star-Lord says Chelsea are in the mud. Is what's been said there. Koulibaly where is what Creative Webs has got to say. Tuchel out, Lukaku in is what Big Lebowski has got to say here. Chelsea flop again is what James has got to say in the comment section. Everyone saying Fofana as if Koulibaly didn't head the ball to the opposition. Mount can't cover around in a two-man midfield. Back three is horrendous. Must change the shape. 3-4-3. Always a flat formation. Easy to score up the midfield, which is exactly what happened just on the counter, is what's being said here. So some very unhappy Chelsea fans in the comment sections, as we can see so far. Lots of Tuchel outs. Lots of Tuchel outs coming in. Tuchel out, John Terry in. So maybe a little bit too far. LMP Adventures says Tuchel out tonight. Someone say Mount got the minerals. Listen, Mason Mount looks so poor at the moment. He really, really does. But the majority of the attacking element of Chelsea looks poor. Impotent, flaccid, weak. There's nothing going on. It's friend zone football. There is zero penetrate. Well, they penetrate, but they don't get the job done. They just can't do it. And you even saw tonight, there was 2 or 3 times the ball goes across the 6-yard box, you think, goal. Even when Ziyech should have scored, I know he was offside, even that got saved. Is this just bad luck? Is this the way they play? Is it a lack of quality, a combination of everything? We want to know right now, people. This says, as a United fan, I wouldn't want to see what Potter could do. I wouldn't want to see what Potter could do with this squad. Yeah, I think a lot of people are apprehensive of Graham Potter taking over a big club because of how good his football is. Super Chat here says, Sarri was the last time I enjoyed Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel out, Sarri in, is what Samuel's got to say here. Let's do some more of these super chats here. Can you keep starring them for me, please, Jay? Sorry, as they come up. I don't blame Tuchel. Some defense here for Thomas Tuchel. I think this squad just can't play versus deep defenses. The creativity is awful. Rudiger over Koulibaly. Ziyech is awful. So a bit of defense there. A little bit of defense there for Thomas Tuchel. Damien here says, we can't spend all that money, then fire him. Then we expect a new manager to win with players that he didn't buy. Tuchel in. Well, you should be buying for a club system. So if you did replace Tuchel, it would have to be for someone that could utilize this squad and the personnel in it. And I'm not suggesting that Tuchel should be sacked, but you lose 3 away games on the bounce. Only won half of your games so far this season, and unconvincingly in some of those before. Unconvincing against Everton, unconvincing against West Ham, struggling to score. The pressure is starting to mount, though. I think what I would say to you, and I get your point, you can't just sack him after the money being spent. But the amount of money that was spent also increases that pressure, doesn't it? Because he has to kind of deliver against that. Now, I am joined in the studio today by the brilliant Jessica Black. How are you?
I'm good. It's nice to see somebody else is going to have to take all the, negativity today. It's nice to see somebody else lose a game. So yeah, I was definitely sitting there like, okay, I'm hoping that Chelsea lose. I'm just a rival. That's what we do. But yeah, I think the game was set up kind of like this is exactly what you thought would happen. Chelsea would have the majority of the ball. Dinamo Zagreb would kind of be maybe locked into their penalty box. Chelsea would be the more dominant team. But I don't think what we counted on was the lack of defensive solidity back there between Koulibaly and Fofana. So, some people think it was more Koulibaly. Some people think it's more Fofana. I think it's probably a little bit of both. Them being able to have that quality, with like 1 or 2 chances, and Chelsea not being able to break through beyond that. And so, yeah, it feels like a smash and grab kind of situation for Dinamo Zagreb. But what I do want to say is that they deserve a lot of credit for the performance that they put in. That was a quintessential Champions League performance, where you give everything from minute 1 to 90, no matter what. And I think there are a lot of the players, the goalkeeper, a couple of the midfielders just dropped to their knees. I mean, they played so well. Lubicic, the number 14, excellent. And Orsic, 1 chance, 1 goal makes it count. And this just kind of shows that no matter how good your team is and how many great players you have to show up and play. And I do think that maybe there's a little bit of complacency and maybe a little bit of arrogance from Chelsea, because it wasn't so much that they couldn't break down a deep block. They had so many chances in that first 15 minutes. Like, there were so many chances there where if they had just stretched a leg out a little bit more, if they had just been a little bit more better with their passes and crosses and cutbacks, they would have had 2 or 3 goals. So it's not about breaking down deep blocks, is they just weren't clinical enough, and then they got caught. So yeah, that's just the nature of the beast. But I see there's a lot of questioning of Thomas Tuchel. I do feel like it's probably valid considering the amount of money that's been spent, the quality in the squad. Is it that he can't coach and attack? His system is broken? Are these players just crap? I think we'll figure that out soon. But yeah, Chelsea haven't looked great this season starting out. Like they just haven't looked good. And where they had issues in attack, we always knew about those. But now with the leakiness in defense, it's becoming even more of an issue. So yeah, Chelsea have some work to do. But overall, I think Dinamo Zagreb made it a good watch.
No, listen, I think you're right. I believe, look, there has to be pressure on Thomas Tuchel, though. And the questions have to be asked. And I would kind of want to see a fan base be grown up in the sense of you can question Thomas Tuchel, you can demand higher standards, but you don't necessarily think Tuchel out. Like you don't have to go straight to sack him, get rid of him. He isn't good enough. Now you have some Chelsea fans who have been, I believe, in the dark place in their minds, have been waiting for this period because they loved Sarri or they loved Lampard. And you always get fans from every club who hold on to a love for a previous manager and they can't wait for the next one to fail. A small part of them wants the next manager to fail so they can say, see, I told you. But questions do have to be placed upon Thomas Tuchel's head because I understand if you throw points away to a Tottenham. It wasn't even their fault, but I understand it. I understand tough away games in the Premier League. I'm not being disrespectful, but Chelsea, with what they've spent, the players that started today, a Champions League winning manager, you shouldn't be getting beat by Dinamo Zagreb. And you shouldn't be losing 3 away games on the bounce, not with the value of the squad, the quality of the players and the manager. Questions about Tuchel have to be put out there. And it can't just always be the players. I'm someone who's defended his system for a while, but there comes a point where you've got to say to yourself, they bring in new players, it looks the same. They take out old players, they bring new players in. It looks the same in many ways. So I do want to hear from Chelsea fans, their views and their opinions on this. But it'll be another painful night. I know it's very early on in the season, and of course, it's that you're not out the Champions League. So it's not like you've just been knocked out of the knockout stages by Dinamo Zagreb. But it isn't a nice start. There's no doubt about it. We have some more super chats here. This is from Nabil. This is keep simping for Chelsea. No more sugar daddy, is what Nabil's got to say. The plastic fans who are saying Tuchel out should leave my club alone with these players, Mount, Ziyech and Pulisic. Let them rot on the bench. G is not happy with the Tuchel out brigade that have started. This is a bad team, is what C says. Plain and simple, no plan, no heart left. A lot heart left with Rudiger, and the lesser teams have a blueprint for us. People won't play football against us because they won't have to. Just horrible to watch, is what C's got to say. I mean, it's quite damning to say that, with the heart left with Rudiger.
Yeah, I mean, I think I understand what people are trying to say. Like they're looking at the players and saying that they should be able to execute because of there's expectations of those players. And I don't think they actually replace Rudiger's spirit or whatever. Like we know that there's just some players that come with a little extra something, and Rudiger was definitely one of those. But where I kind of push back on this is that I look at these players and they're not crap. Like they're just not. Mount is not a bad player. Every single time somebody talks about Mount or talks about another youngish player, Mount's put up on a pedestal. He's done this and that. He's done it in the Champions League. Havertz, 72 million, was supposed to be the best young player, blah, blah, blah. Pulisic, not a bad player. Hakim Ziyech, not a bad player. Sterling, not a bad player. Aubameyang, not a bad player. So I think it's, like you said, it's okay to question Tuchel without it being Tuchel out. But I do feel like it's disingenuous to act like all these players are just bad.
Yeah.
I can't see it like that because these players are not bad. You can't say that you spent this amount of money and they're just like dead players. He's not getting enough out of them, I feel like. And yeah, that's a problem. But I do feel like some people want to protect him so much that they don't even want to let the light in. Like he definitely is culpable. These players are not that bad.
No, I totally agree. I think a lot of people agree with you as well. The decision about Tuchel has to be held on whether he can build his own team. He's great at working with what he has, but what is a Tuchel system is what C's got to say. KK here says TT has been at it for over a year and it's been the same poor performances since November. Surely those TT outers are justified. is the question there. Chelsea fans keep mentioning about Agent Willian or Agent Luis. Enjoy Agent Oba. Is what's been said there, as in aubameyang. Nathaniel here says hard work is everything. Talent is the cherry on top of the cherry on top. Arrogant bunch of blah blah blah. Broja should start against Fulham, and people who are Tuchel out, do me a favor. Nabil here says, can we not bring Arsenal fans on Champions League nights? Jess, what did the ref do wrong today? Can Arsenal fans be consistent over referees whining? Well, we're not talking Arsenal tonight, my friend. And of course, everyone's welcome on the football terrace. Nabil, my friend.
I'll be here on most Champions League nights, so have fun. I will be here.
Absolutely. Look, listen, people, we want you to smash those like buttons for us right now. We are live after the 8 o'clock games as well. We've got them all on in front of us right now. Scan the QR code on the screen. Make sure you're downloading and using the Tops Kick 23 app. It's amazing for collectibles. If you're a little bit of a football geek like me, I'll be honest with you, I used to collect all types of cards and stickers. In my younger days, I used to play with them. And as you get a bit older, it's harder to, because, you know, you played like top trumps with your friends. You can't really ring up. When you're my age, you don't really ring your friends up and go, do you want to play top trumps? What this game enables you to do is play these sort of card collectible and digital collectible games online. And there's all types of different things that you can do on there. And we're going to go through that over the course of the coming weeks with you on every single Champions League night. You can see some of the cards that you can get on there. You've got the Jorginho one. I know that a redneck blue backstage. Well, on the Jorginho one, there's Mason Mount cards and much, much more available. So go and get that downloaded for free right now. We're going to go to some calls. We're going to go to some calls now because I know a lot of Chelsea fans have got things to say. First up, we're going to get Redneck Blue on the line with us now. What you saying, my friend?
Hey, Terry, how are you? I actually gonna agree with Jess today, because she actually said it spot on. The players are not as bad as people making them. There's a couple of them I would like them to be gone. The problem with people that saying Tuchel out is when the players are not performing, why are they still playing? Why you're not dropping them? That's the problem when people asking why they put it on Tuchel. Because if I'll just go for specific for Mount today, because he played the longest minute and he was one of the worst players actually on the field. So for me, you made 2 substitutions and he was still on the field and he did not improve, and he played all the 90 minutes. So for me, this is the question when Tuchel should be answered, and this is the kind of questions that fans are gonna ask for Tuchel, and that's why they saying Tuchel out, because they don't have patience for it. My problem with people Mount defenders like Johnny is going to be saying like, why is that? He played 6. He played in a pivot. Mount is not a pivot position player. I understand with you. But how we played against this specific team, did you actually need it sit in 6? No. When he was up, he did not play as an 8, which is his proper position. So no matter how you're going to defend, the guy need... My problem with Tuchel today, why he didn't sub him? Why he didn't sub with such a poor performance? That's what it was. Even James was first 20 minutes, couldn't cross the ball into the box to save his life. And Auba was there. Sterling was there. Auba should have finished the ball first time. Why he was passing to Sterling, I don't know. He should have taken a first chance that he got and just buried the ball.
Yeah.
It was on him, but for the people, I'm not Tuchel out. Like I said, I'm just waiting. But it's not up to me to make a final decision. It's up to the board to actually make a decision. But he said we don't need the midfielder. He has to answer for those crimes.
Well, obviously, there's Zakaria to come in. We'll see if things improve. He's not a progressive midfielder. He's more of the defensive type. So we'll see. I do get your frustration, though, my friend, and we'll chat again soon. Thank you very much for coming on.
Good to see you guys.
And having your say, top man. Thank you. Next up on the show, Dave is coming soon. We've got man like Matt wanted Kepa back in. What you got to say, Matt?
I mean, Kepa today, give him an average performance. You know, if we're going to really discuss it, I think he had a great save, but I honestly think he should have done better with that first one. I'm always honest with my players, you know, even the ones I like. And I said he should have definitely done better for that first one. But over on the performance, you know, Tuchel in, Tuchel out, that's the big question all Chelsea fans are now on. I was to say, I'm Tuchel in. I'm going to give the guy time. I said it last season. If the guy finishes 8th, I'll still give him another season because I want us to build a team around him where we give him time, we give him the players he wants over time. But the one thing I'm going to criticize him on, and it's this thing where he just continuously starts players who do not deserve to be on this pitch. Mason Mount and Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz was a bit better today. I'll give him that. I think it was, you know, he showed a bit more effort. Mason Mount is a player, and I've said this guy is not to this level of Frank Lampard. People used to compare him to generational talent. This guy's useless. This guy's nothing. He's horrible. This guy needs to be lowered his expectation to a standard where he's a bang average player. And when Tuchel keeps putting him in these positions where he can't play, where he's not a good footballer, he needs to be humbled. And I've said this guy is not untouchable. We're looking at giving him a new contract. Put that contract on hold because he does not deserve any new contract, and he needs to prove himself. Why? Because this game today, he was absolutely shocking, and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Everyone says he's young. Give him time. Young players should not be declining. They should not. They should be progressing. But this guy's declining. So it's just a matter of Tuchel, I don't think, humbling these players and taking them off because I don't know what he's doing here. But I'm going to be Tuchel in. I'm going to give it time. Definitely a bad loss for us. I think our attack, Aubameyang, I mean, he had that offside goal, but he just didn't get really involved. Hopefully Zakaria, I said Zakaria, I think for me is a better signing than Declan Rice because I think of the price and all that other stuff. Maybe player-wise, maybe not. But he fits Tuchel's system more because he plays like the Marquinhos from PSG, and Marquinhos and Tuchel are best friends. He loved Marquinhos, so I'm hopeful Zakaria can bring some progressive stuff to our midfield because today it's just all over the place. But yeah.
Mate, no, listen, I do get where you're coming from, and I get why you're going to stay behind the manager for the time being because you are very early on in the season. But I get your frustrations about picking players that don't deserve it. Man United have gone through this, and you've seen Eric Bailly come out today and call the club out for what the previous managers were doing, and the wrong players being picked, and they feel like their place is almost guaranteed. And that can create problems in the dressing room. That can create disharmony and frustration. And one of the most important elements for a manager is keeping a dressing room happy and ticking over, and everybody, even if they're not playing, remaining happy. Liverpool and City, for instance, have done that impeccably well. You can tell Arsenal's dressing room has a very good feeling in it right now, and so does Tottenham's. Matt, but thank you very much, my friend, for coming on the show, and we'll chat again soon, bro. Thank you. We've got Roy the Boy to come on. We've got David coming on next. Winter Surfers backstage as well. We've got some super chats here. The first one says, watch Chelsea be quality in November. Time rival fans were right. Chelsea were not right for the season. Welcome, Chelsea FC. It's from the Europa League. Chelsea is the most boring team I've ever watched, maybe ever. I love watching Chelsea, but damn, the horizontal backwards passing will be my death, is what Dean has got to say here. You don't find Chelsea entertaining to watch, do you?
No, not particularly. I don't. But it didn't matter when they were winning 1-0. They were really solid at the back. Like there was a time where they basically did not give up goals, like for games on games on games on games. So when you're getting the results, it doesn't matter. But when you stop getting the results, people don't want to watch you lose and also be almost unwatchable. So yeah, I get what they're saying. You guys are boring. I told you that.
Roy's gone now. David's joining us now. What are you saying, David?
Obviously, it's annoying to lose. Good thing about the Champions League group is that obviously it's like you've got 5 games to make up for it. So there's nothing to really worry about for now. I'm sure all we have to do is win 3 more games and we'll at worst come second. So I'm not too fussed about it. My biggest problem with today is that I just felt the team lacked a bit of balance. I think that was the only difference. I think once we actually got into at the start of the game when we were in the final third, we were actually doing quite well. And I thought Havertz was probably one of his best games in a while. He had as I was saying to Jess in the group chat, he had a Gabby Jesus level game. But I'm joking, he wasn't that good, but he was a lot better than he usually is, and because he has a striker we can play off. But yeah, we lost, and it was just, again, it's not even like their goal was well crafted. It's just our defenders making bad mistakes. it's just frustrating. Honestly, it's like it's a game where we lost and we deserve to lose, but I don't sit here and go like, "Oh my god, I'm not throwing baby out the bathwater," even though I probably should be, but I'm just not.
I think you should. It's a crisis, basically.
I don't think it's a crisis. It's too early, Jess. Jess, I know what you're trying to do, but it's too early, Jess. It's too early. It's still got a whole season to make up for it.
Jesse's obviously school like kidding and stuff, but I'm not saying there is a crisis and it should be too. I'm literally saying I think Tuchel should be questioned. That doesn't mean he should be told that he has to leave his job, that he should be sacked. But are you not worried because you've seen Man United start the season slowly and get better? Even the likes of Everton started badly. I'm not saying they're ripping up trees, but they're getting better. Are you not worried that you're not really progressing as a team, or do you feel you are?
I think that we are. I think if you look at our first game and you look at how we played today, I think it was far better than the first game or the couple. Or, apart from the Spurs game, I don't think it was. I think it was better than most other games we played. Like you look at the West Ham game. Today's performance was better than the West Ham games, but obviously we lost. So I just think Tuchel needs to play once he gets the players up to full fitness, because I still think they're lacking a little bit in fitness. Once they get up to full fitness and he can play the players that he signed and they're in the system that he wants to build, I think we'll be fine. Like Mount today was not he's not that kind of player who's going to play that deep in midfield, and he showed today he wasn't good enough. Ziyech came on and dropped one of the worst performances I think I've ever seen. Just everything hit the wall, hit the front man. It was awful. Pulisic came on and did nothing. And I'm not saying all the attackers are bad, but I defo think that Mount and Pulisic Pulisic and Ziyech are ones that I think should just leave, because I just don't think they're going to do well under this manager. I just don't see it personally, but that's just me.
Yeah, Mount's such an interesting one because there was so much hope and hype that he was going to be the guy. And I said after his first year, 18 months, when he was playing regularly, I thought, this guy's got something about him. However, he needs. I said his final ball.
He makes. And Ziyech is guilty of this as well. They make really poor decisions. They're like Mason Mount's final ball is poor, but his decision making is also incredibly poor. So when there are passes on where it can lead to us creating a chance, he plays the wrong pass, and it means we can't create that chance because the defense gets set. I think we are getting into the right areas. I just think our decision making in those areas is poor. And again, we talked about it last match reaction, where it's like Tuchel can train these guys to play this pass in this certain situation, but if mentally they are just not capable of doing it, that's not a Tuchel problem. That's a personnel problem. And that personnel needs to be changed out. It's that simple.
No, mate, I totally agree with you. I really, really do. David, always a pleasure to speak, my friend.
No
and we'll chat again soon. Top man, thank you. I wanted to ask you this question about Mason Mount, because he started well. I would say 50% of the Chelsea fan base want him nowhere near this team. Do you think he is a good enough, I'm going to call him an attacking midfield player, because he's definitely not a defensive one. Do you think he's good enough to help Chelsea to be a pivotal player in a Chelsea team that will become champions of England again?
I mean, I rate Mason Mount. I think he's a really good player, and he was playing his best probably under Lampard. And as time has went on and there's a new manager and the system has kind of changed, he's fallen away a little bit. I'm starting to forget what Mason Mount is actually good at. That's, I feel like, the worrying thing is I'm trying to remember what he was actually good at, because I don't think the way that he's being told to play or the way that he's supposed to play in the system is actually bringing out the best in him. I don't think he's a great final ball, between the lines passer type player. I don't think that's what he is. So if you put him in a position to do that, he's going to fail. So for me, I wouldn't throw the talent on Mason Mount and just say he's not good enough. But there also is a scenario that we have sometimes with our academy players, is that they burst onto the scene and they're quite good, and then they plateau a little bit, and then you have to adjust your expectations. I don't know if that's actually where Chelsea fans are with Mount. They know a lot more about him than I do, but that could be a real possibility. Or he's just not playing in the right system and position to get the most out of him. Chelsea fans can let me know in the chat, what is he good at? Like, what is he known for? What is it? Because it's not in between the lines passing. It's not vision. It can't.
Yeah, I look at it this way. When he first came into the team, I didn't think he was good enough for Chelsea. I kind of said him. I said Reece James, I think is. I said Mason Mount and Tammy, I didn't think were good enough in the Premier League for Chelsea. I got one right. Most Chelsea fans agree by the end of the season. Tammy wasn't the guy. Mount had a really good first 18 months, in my view, like being a regular first team Chelsea player. But he's not delivering at the moment. And I know last year he got a lot of GA as an example. But this is Chelsea Football Club. That level of performance has to be maintained. That level of performance has to continue. That level of performance has to be not literally week in, week out, because all players, even all of our club's GOATs, had bad weeks.
Yeah.
But there has to be a level of consistency from him. And there should be no player at Chelsea. There should be no player at any top 6 club who is untouchable, whether they're from an academy, whether they've been bought for a record fee, whether they're whether they are the manager's son, which happens a lot of Sunday League football in England. The manager's son always gets picked, he never gets dropped. That shouldn't be the case, because it can cause disharmony. We've seen that, as I mentioned earlier, at Manchester United. And I look at Mason Mount and I see a talented footballer, a guy that in the past has scored goals, has created opportunities. And I look at him and think, if you're not scoring and creating, though, what else is it that you're doing for Chelsea? Because your fans aren't happy with you.
Yeah.
I see him as a bit of a, I don't want to use the word loose cannon. It's more of it's a spare part on the pitch at times. And I think Chelsea fans have to question it. And more so, they have to question the manager and say, why, as a lot of the callers have said tonight, why are you playing him when he's not performing?
Yeah, and I wonder if he's like a master of none type. You know, he's good at a lot of things, but not excellent in anything. Because for me, like, I just remember him being somebody that at his best would really chip in with the goals, was really energetic, you know, would get in and amongst what they were doing in their triangles and in the attack. But right now I'm like, okay, what are you special at? And if you're not special at one thing, you need to be really, really good at a lot of stuff. And right now he's just kind of in between. But I think this might just be more of like a symptom of everything kind of be broken at Chelsea at the moment, especially in the attack. I'm just not prepared to throw in the towel, because I remember he was so
and
good.
I agree with that. I don't think I think it's not about throwing in the towel, but it's around balance. And if he isn't playing well, he needs to be dropped.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe there is an element of, well, I know I'm going to get picked, and that can't be right at a club the size. I know people will always dig at Chelsea for not having a history. Let's just get over that now. 20 years, they've won more trophies than anybody else in England. That is quite literally, by definition, history. That joke's dead, milked, finished now. Stop it. You embarrass yourself when you say it. But Chelsea fans have to be questioning the manager and why this guy keeps playing. I know they might say, well, there's no one else. I mean,
that's what I was just about to say. Who else is going to come in?
But then do what you did with Mount. If there's no one else, give another kid a chance. When a player isn't performing, if you give a kid a chance, do you know the worst that will happen is he'll be as bad. If they're not performing, give someone else a go. There are players at Chelsea. They've got a thick squad. They've got a big academy. There's someone else or a system change. Utilize somebody else and see what happens. Next on the show, Roy is joining us here. What are you saying, Roy, my boy? So that signal's janky. You're on mute as well. Can you hear me? Try calling us back. We're going to get Winter Surfer on and have you say. Now, what are you saying, Winter?
Yeah, it wasn't very good tonight. Didn't deserve really anything from it. I got a question the manager in terms of his team selection, and also his I don't know, his delusionment in the fact that we didn't need improvements in midfield over the summer, because that's going to come back to bite him until January. Mount is not a pivot player. He played 2 8s as 6s, and neither of them are defensively disciplined enough, and it showed. There was big gaps there. He brought Ziyech on and didn't change the system, started him at right wing back. He's so left-footed, he might as well not have another foot. It's ridiculous. And he had one of the worst performances I've ever seen. But there's just nothing. I don't know what it is. Away this season, if anything bad happens, the team shrink. At home, Against Leicester, they went down to 10 men. They stood up. Against West Ham, they went 1-0 down. They stood up. They came on. They changed it. But away from home, they shrink. Any adversity, it's weak, the mentality. And some of these players, this is not a young team. This is an experienced team. And some of the guys who you expect to step up and lead others through the game aren't doing it. And, you know, whether that stems from the manager himself, that's the thing as well. It's just not, I don't know what it is. It's just, something's just not clicking. Everyone's off form at the same time as well. It's not like one or two players that are off form at the same time. It's just worrying because he's got a real opportunity here under the new ownership to stamp it, make the club his own essentially. And he's going to end up throwing it away because I'm not Tuchel out. I'm not Tuchel out, but the fact that he didn't even bother changing formation tonight as well, still kept to that regimented.
Yeah, I couldn't understand why you took off Aspie, I get, but you take off Aspie, bring on Ziyech, okay, but go to a flat back four and utilize Reece James in an attacking sense. Suddenly you literally made your best attacker become a centre back. It doesn't make sense, and this is why I'm saying he has to be questioned. And it doesn't mean Tuchel out right now, but the questions have to start to be put there because I know people say he's just had all this money spent, but Lampard had quite a lot of money spent in the summer before he was sacked. Like, you know, do you get where I'm coming? And I'm not saying he's going down the same road as Lampard. He's obviously won a Champions League, but you're Chelsea Football Club, and there's an element of Roman Abramovich got it wrong when he sacked managers that were winners that just had an off moment. But if you've got a manager that like is going backwards consistently, like you have to start to say, well, how long can he last?
Yeah, and also
at the very least question it.
Yeah, and also this like, oh, well, wait until he gets his players in. He's been in there it's going to be 2 years soon. He's still picking players that were picked by previous managers. So they're his players, right? Mount, Havertz, stuff like that. I can't give him leeway on this when he keeps picking them. And it's like, you've seen this, Terry, you've seen this. Some managers just have blind spots with some players and try and put them into a team no matter what, but before the light bulb goes off. And that's what he's doing with Mount. He's trying to figure him and putting him in every single game that we can, apart from, he came on. But it's just, when I think it's just a blind spot sometimes. It's just, sometimes that someone needs to, what is his coaching staff telling him? Are they all in agreement that we should be playing this way? I can't believe that. So it's either he's not listening or it's just his stubbornness and he's going to make sure he's going to be proven right. It's going to be this way. But the top managers evolve. They learn to change. Eric Ten Hag's gone into Manchester United. He tried it one way and he's changed it. He's dropped a few players.
Yeah.
Conte, when he came to Chelsea, he went with what the players were used to and he changed it when we lost 3-0. He needs to be more open-minded to change, or else it's going to, I don't know what these new owners are like. I don't know if they're with football, whether they're going to be trigger happy or not. But there's no way they're going to spend 250 million summer, look to spend 100 million more in January, and accept this. It's just not going to.
Bro, this is the thing. Trigger happy is a manager winning the Champions League and winning the Premier League, or doing an FA Cup Premier League double, and the following season being in the title race and just missing out and getting sacked. That's trigger happy.
Yeah.
Like winning, I'm not saying you sack him now, but let's just say we get to like the World Cup period and you're sitting 6th or 7th in the league, you're 10 points off the top 4, you just about scrape through the group stage of the Champions League. A serious question would have to be put out there because by the trajectory you're going in, it's going to be a bad season. That's not trigger happy for me. But at the same time, you could argue Arsenal stuck with Arteta and they're getting better and better over the course of time. So there's both two ways of looking at this. I suppose it's going to come down to opinions. My friend, thank you very much for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really guys. Do appreciate it. Top man, thank you. Remember, people, to get Top Kicks 23 downloaded, the only official UEFA Champions League digital collectible app available. We're going to be playing a lot of their games over the course of this season once you guys have got it downloaded and all the new packs are launched. All the new Champions League packs are being launched over the next couple of weeks. So we're going to get enough of you downloading it and we're going to play. And I know you're looking forward to playing the fantasy game with us, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fantasy, football person, but I will jump in and play it with you guys. I'll do it with you guys.
Well, no, we're gonna do it on the reason that we're gonna do it is because you and these shows are gonna get bigger. We're gonna have more guests. We're gonna create a bit of a league. We want you, the viewers, to be in the league, and we're gonna compete against each other. We're gonna see who has the best Champions League knowledge. That's why we're doing it.
I think that the funny thing about this will be that we'll be able to, be a part of Champions League, even though our teams are not. So we'll be able to be a part of it.
Well, part of the reason I'm so excited about to have this partnership with Tops Kick 23 is because you always get called out. Oh, my football knowledge is better because my team's better. Well, we'll see. Teams, if your team's in the Champions League, I want you getting this app downloaded and getting ready because I am going to school every other host and every other guest on this show, and I'm going to come top because I keep hearing everyone tell me how good they are at fantasy football. I'm like, right, I'm going to go get a great partner up, bring it to the terrace, and then we're going to deliver it. And there's no better brand, there's no better company out there than Tops. They do much more than the fantasy game that's coming and what they call their challenges and everything else as well. So go and get it downloaded now. Scan that QR code or use the link in the description. They've got some really good stuff on there. Obviously, right now we're focusing on their Chelsea collectibles, the digital collectibles, and much more. But they've got many others which we'll speak about on the show later on tonight. So scan that now and get it downloaded. We're going to try and speak. Roy's signal I can see it glitching in the back, Roy. You can't see it, my friend. I can't put you in. It's literally you look like a robot the way it's moving. I know it doesn't know that way to you. We're going to go to Latimus Prime. Are you there, my friend?
Yes, I am.
What do you want to say?
Don't know why Tuchel played such a weakened team today. I said as soon as the draws were making the Champions League, that if we underestimate this group, we could finish second. AC Milan are title winners last season. They're in brilliant form. And Zagreb and Salzburg are two tricky ties that if you get it wrong, you could end up finishing second. I don't know what's been going on this season. There's been stupid lapses in concentration defensively. Both goalkeepers just seem to be making stupid mistakes. The forward line, there's nothing there. People got gassed about Sterling coming in, and I don't want to get onto Sterling, but I knew just him alone wouldn't make a difference. I'm not expecting Sterling to put everything on his back and just carry the team. He's not that sort of player, and he doesn't deserve to be treated like that. Aubameyang, yes, people can say he's a proven goal scorer, but only if he's given chances to score goals. We saw near the end of his time at Arsenal, he wasn't given service and he looked non-existent. And you saw that tonight. He's not given service and he looks non-existent. We have a serious problem with our creativity. Mount playing in a double pivot, I don't know. He was doing it in preseason training. Mount was training in the pivot, and he hasn't tried Mount there until this game. And he was playing Gallagher, and I was thinking it's weird. Maybe just try Mount in the pivot. Let's see how it will go. I was wrong about that. It is just as bad as playing Gallagher in there. Maybe he should have played Jorginho, but again, Jorginho's been poor the vast majority of this calendar year. And do you put that on burnout or just him maybe being a bit past it as a player? I think it's a bit of both. But what else do we have? Ruben's not good. You now have Gallagher. He's not good either. Kovacic and Kante are both always injured. I understand some of the grievances people have about Tuchel. And yes, there are certain things he should probably fix up on tactically and stuff. I get all of that. But there are also so many other factors.
I want to interject and push you. But you saying listen to things, but where do you hold the blame for where you're actually at? There must be someone that because you're kind of blaming anything and everyone, but you're kind of dancing around it all a bit.
Majority of the blame on these players. Do you not have as a man, as a human being, do you not have any sort of what is the right word? Yes, thank you, Jess. Pride in the way we're losing these games, the way we're stupidly losing these games. I said this back when we drew against Spurs, when every Chelsea fan was blaming VAR decisions. I came on here on the review. I came on the Chelsea show as well, and I said, as much as you guys can talk about VAR, the reason why we drew that game is because we switched off at the set piece. and we switched off when Spurs scored that goal. We should have defended both of them better. And people wanted to complain about VAR. And it's the same thing we've been seeing since that. Against Leeds, the free kick goal that Rodrigo headed in, we switched off at that set piece. The 2 goals we conceded against Southampton, we were stupidly giving the ball away. And Armstrong being allowed to get a touch in the box and turn and shoot. Not defending the corner, and Lavia being able to score. The same kind of thing tonight, being sloppy defensively. It's something needs to.
Yeah, no, something does need to happen, and it's interesting because I think a lot of people are putting on the fact that maybe too many players.
And like I'm not Tuchel out because I know there's bigger. Sorry, I just want to say I'm not Tuchel out, but because I know there are bigger problems. But if it doesn't change by the World Cup, I don't know if maybe Tuchel might get sacked. But my thing is, if Tuchel gets sacked, I don't trust Bowley to find the right guy because we still don't have a director of football, and I don't know what Bowley going to is. Bowley going to go on yeah, sorry.
No, mate, I totally understand that. I do, and I don't think it's wrong to go Tuchel out right now. I just want to get to the crux of what people think's actually wrong with Chelsea right now, as opposed to wrong altogether. But Prime, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. I appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much indeed. We'll try and get Roy on. I don't know if it's going to work, Roy.
Can you hear me, Terry?
Yes.
Oh, my connection's still not great.
Yeah, mate.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's glitchy though, my friend. I'm not too sure we'll be able to hear you on that. I have super chat. There's a few super chats I've got to do here. There's no better manager available than Thomas Tuchel. I think that's a fair point. Like, who out there is like of that world-class level and above? However, that excuse only lasts for so long. Like, you can't keep losing games and go, yeah, but there's no better manager because, well, that doesn't make sense if you keep losing games. Like, you may have to look on. As a Chelsea fan, Dinamo Zagreb respect. Ziyech and Mount atrocious. We were playing with 9 men, and where the hell was Zakaria and Kepa over Mendy? I mean, Zakaria is not fit, I don't believe yet.
They're in such a difficult spot just because they have I think they have a lot of players that expected to go, but are still there, and they're not motivated to play for the badge. But those are the players that you want to bring in to, for Mount, for these types of players. So they're in a difficult position. But the one thing I'd be looking for as a Chelsea fan is, you bought some players. They should fit whatever Tuchel's system is. It should be obvious. Lisandro Martinez comes straight into Man United. Looks like that's exactly what he was supposed to be doing. So I think you should still be able to see some progress, even if, there's some gaps there. Right now, it's early days. Players have come in that are supposed to be Tuchel's players, and it doesn't look any better. That would be scary for me as a Chelsea fan.
Totally agree. Comment here says, I'm not in Zagreb, but as a match-going fan, this is from Fatua, by the way, it's very hard to support a team like this. I feel bad for those traveling fans. There's questions to be asked, like, are we going to see the same cycle like previous managers if Tuchel is sacked? And I think that goes back to your point of who are these players for? What style are they meant to fit into? There's a reason the other day why Anthony started and Casemiro's being bled in, because Casemiro is a player that was on the list. We heard that today from David Ornstein listening to the overlap. He was on the list, but he wasn't someone that knows the Ajax Ten Hag style of football, so it's going to take him longer to adapt. But you think with Tuchel, he was selecting these players, hand select. So that's where it becomes a catch-22. He deserves longer because he's building something. But equally, should there not be a visual change when you bring in 4 or 5 players you've handpicked?
There should be, because, and I know people don't like, bringing up, because like as an Arsenal fan with Arteta, no matter how much, like, he has his flaws, every single player that he brought in made sense. Like from last window and this window, every single signing, from the moment that they stepped on the pitch, you knew exactly what we were trying to do. We still had gaps. We still needed to bring in a striker. We still needed another midfielder. We still needed those other players. But the gaps became the obvious signings that needed to come in. They became so obvious because the players that came in fit so well.
Yeah.
So they should come in, and like, it's not going to be perfect, but right now you're not really seeing it, but it'll take time maybe.
No, look, 110%. There should be. I've said this before. Pitt was telling me what my expectations of Ten Hag were. The same as what my expectations of Eddie Howe were. The same as what we saw with Graham Potter at Brighton. When a manager comes in, you should be able to see something. You saw something instantly when Tuchel first arrived. You saw a team that was hard to beat, hard to break down. But like a lot of three at the back formations in Premier League history, they've only lasted a certain amount of time, and you have to then adapt because you lose a little bit. You're hard to break down, but then what else do you have? And this is what we now need to see from Thomas Tuchel. Hey, Terry, when is your show with Lee Gunner? That got moved to tomorrow because of the early Champions League kickoff with an English team. So that's going to be tomorrow, 4 p.m. We'll be live. How many players do we dump to keep Tuchel? Well, you make the right decisions for the club. But I hear you. Good question. Thoughts on Bay's comments? We're going to talk about that more on the straight facts. I think he has a point to a degree, and I'm going to touch on that tomorrow a little bit more on straight facts. So don't you worry yourselves about that. I know Zane's backstage. Zane, we'll speak to you at full time of the next show because we are watching the games, but I want to focus on them a little bit more. We are live again after the 8 p.m. games. We know that Mbappe's got a brace. Haaland scored for City. So we're going to be reviewing all of that with you. As I said before, make sure you scan that QR code that's not currently on the screen. It's back on the screen again now. Make sure you give that a scan and download the Tops app. It's going to be a big part of the Champions League nights for the Terrace moving forward. We've got some great shows on the way. New set coming very, very soon as well. So we're very, very excited. We'll see you in about an hour or so for the next match reaction show. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you in a bit. Welcome to the highlights and match reaction show for the UEFA Champions League. We are sponsored by our partners for the entire season at Tops Kick 23. Tops Kick are the official digital collectibles app of the UEFA Champions League. Tops Kick is back for the 22-23 season where you can collect and trade your favorite players from across the Champions League with football fans all around the world. The app has new packs available every week, brand new cards, original artworks, and classic top card designs. Throughout the course of this season, I want to build with you the ultimate Champions League squad with Tops Kick. So get the app downloaded right now. It's available worldwide and it is free. I'm going to be playing along throughout the entire Champions League season from tonight right and through to the final, and I want to see you there. The link is available in the description below to download the Tops Kick 23 app. You can also scan the QR code that will be on the screen throughout the course of this stream. But make sure like buttons are being smashed. You're subscribing to the Football Terrace.